Mouthwashing isn't some masterpiece of horror in the traditional sense. Some people may never even grasp the clues cleverly hidden in plain sight. The game constantly hits you over the head with the real horror at hand. You might only notice the surface level horror of the situation the crew is in, the lack of food, water, and medicine, the dwindling sanity of everyone around you. Wrong Oregon placed plenty of typical horror moments. Weird rooms, creepy monsters, and tense scenarios. All of these moments have symbolism of what's really going on, but also serve as a way to throw the player off. Mouthwashing teaches you different forms of real-life issues through 5 very different and flawed members of the Tulpar crew. You play Jimmy, the invective and callous man trying to keep it all together with mouthwash and duct tape. You're joined by the anxious and shy Anya, the optimistic, naive Daisuke, the irate and grizzled Swansea, and of course the complacent and inactive Captain Curly. The real horror here and what makes this game a psychological horror masterpiece isn't the abstract dreamlike settings or the computer glitch chapter transitions. It's the very real dangers and threats outside the abstract. The true nature of Jimmy and who actually crashed the ship, the things that go wrong and why. Most importantly, the unorthodox way the story is told in out-of-order segments pieced together by the end. Mouthwashing wants you to see what can happen if you choose to be ignorant to your surroundings. Eventually, when you finally want to do something, you'll be unable to act like you could have when you chose to do nothing. Do our worst choices or our worst mistakes define us as people? If you try to ignore your own issues, you'll eventually understand what you did wrong, but by then, it'll already be too late. The reality of these questions and the answers offered are at times a little too real. People driven mad by actions outside their control or forced to make choices they don't want to live with. That's mouthwashing, and no matter how much you drink, it will never wash away that uncomfortable taste from your mouth. The uncomfortable feeling of playing as both the villain and the enabler of this story. Being trapped with your tormentor and being trapped in your own body with no way to speak even though you need to scream, no way to stand even if you need to run, forced to witness atrocities left and right. In Mouthwashing, you play as Jimmy and Curly. You swap between them a few different times in the past and present. You witness these abstract horror sequences that are seemingly straight from the psyche of these individuals and their guilt. This game shows, hints at, and goes over a lot of very dark material, some more subtle than others. It still ends in death all around. Jimmy takes his own life in one of the endings after placing Curly in a cryopod. Curly may be the survivor, but he'll never be the same after his accident and witnessing all of that death and having to deal with his own feelings of guilt. Mouthwashing is a relatively short psychological horror adventure game. You do a lot of walking and a lot of talking. You have some interactions interspersed with cinematics, being chased by Swansea like you're in The Shining, and then flashing to a moment with a gun to his head. Someone is fighting with reality, and reality is slowly winning. Jimmy can't make himself believe he's the good guy forever. Curly will never be able to stop anything ever again. Swansea won't be able to tell Daisuke how much he really appreciates him. Anya won't get to make a better life, and Jimmy doesn't have to pay for his actions. That's the horror of this game. Nobody took the chance they were given to make a change, or to take action. It's too late for all of them. And because of that, the person who did the most wrong caused even more harm. At least Anya got to go out on her own terms. She was given a choice and she took control. Her death hit me the hardest. She was with child, she had been ignored and mistreated. She deserved much better, and she deserved a chance to make it out. Due to Curly's cowardice, Jimmy got Daisuke killed, he killed Swansea, caused Anya so much pain, and he saved Curly from a death he yearned for. What seems like an act of good was the worst possible outcome for Curly. He can't do anything really other than move his eyes. He's stuck with everything he's seen for God knows how long, if he is saved. After Jimmy made sure Curly would forever be damned in his broken body with all of his guilt and everything he witnessed, Jimmy took his own life and took responsibility for his actions. The sad part is, he only took responsibility because he didn't want to live with the consequences. He didn't want to face his problems head on. He didn't want to be held accountable for them by others. To put a cap on the whole thing, they were transporting mouthwash. Not food, not water, not medicine. They barely had enough to survive the trip because profit is ultimately what matters. They are but pawns in the ultimate game. Like all horror, this was a cautionary tale. It was all highlighted by corporate greed and having the upper hand on someone else. For all we know, they were doomed from the start. Maybe it was all an experiment. But the moral of the story, in my opinion, is to always take action when you see something wrong. Fix the light, stop the wrongdoing, stop the abuse, stop the problem. Fix yourself and be a light in the life of those around you. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you check out this very good and very disturbing game. Critical Reflex provided me with a copy of the game, and I'd like to thank them and Wrong Organ for the opportunity to both play and review this title. Thanks to Osh, Midnight Medium, and Melancholy Geek as always. The Forge is calling, and I must answer. So I'll see you all when the next video has been forged. Happy Halloween, and I hope it doesn't hurt anymore.